Week 5, done. Week 6, and really, I consider it the most important week so far. But they're all important because they all build on each other. Here's what I want to say. I read your submissions from last night about your thinking about, and really that was what I wanted. The reason, and I hope you followed this, if not, it's not too late, but I wanted you to be able to walk through my code to see how that works so that it gives you an idea and gives you inspiration, hopefully, or at least a reference to think about. And it seems like from reading what you all wrote, you have thought about it, and now's the time to take that concept and make it real in code. And I want to tell you, my focus of today's comments is really about just a little bit of insight I want to give you why I feel this is so important. And it comes from my experience of both doing it myself. It's like when I come up with a concept and I take the time to write the code to make that concept as much as I can come into reality, it's a really empowering thing. It really, and it's a whole, I don't want to say it's a whole different skill set, because learning code itself, learning, in this case, JavaScript, learning how the language, the interpreter, and really in some ways I like to say we're trying to get you to think like JavaScript, but it's not natural for humans to think like JavaScript, right? It's like just not natural. So that's the first reason, is that I have experienced it. And the second is I've talked to enough students who have done my development work and really told me, not really told me, but told me that it was when they really felt like they learned something. Because when you're coding along, you're getting what we call muscle memory. You're being introduced to concepts, some of you for the first time, some of you not, right? These programming concepts, and then seeing the code for those concepts, right? And then, of course, being challenged. That's why I love Andrew's course, is that I love the challenges part of his course. I'm having to build this more into my Python course right now. Not doing as good a job, I bet, about that, but I'm trying. So the two reasons I think development work, what we're doing next week is so important is because students tell me, I'm repeating myself, that's when they learn the most. They really did learn the most when they tried to make something happen. And I've worked with, at least for this semester, enough of you to know this is really true. You have an idea about what you're trying to accomplish. And sometimes I think I have to say is step back a minute. Like make that, like, I don't know if I'd say make it easier, but like your concept, if you're having a hard time creating code to do it, then kind of step back to maybe a simpler version of that and then build towards that. Like get something working that's a more simple example of that code idea, that concept of developing what that thing you want to create is, and then add that functionality as you get that core beginning code done, add that functionality, because it's frustrating to try to, depending on your concept, to try to translate those concepts into code. And again, your mileage may vary here, and it will, based on your experience of doing this. And again, this is targeted to students who have never done this. So I'm just trying to give you some advice. And again, the reason I did this whole conversation was like, this is why this is important. This is why it's 50% of your grade for this class. So what do I want you to reply? Well, I sent everyone an email yesterday. Did you get that? You could reply with that. Do you have any questions about how next week works, right? Um, Remember, a week from today, week from last night, we won't have a learn together. We will only have the dev 0. And we will end up having, after this one, we'll have 2 more of these. Again, about 6 weeks apart for each one. So, and the thing, well, and actually we'll actually have a review next week. I looked at the content for week 7 already and I released it. Okay. Next week's week 7 learn together after we do the dev is really to get your feedback on the process because it's important to me, right? So good job for those who had given that assignment. Its goal was to make you think about, based on now seeing an example of iterating over an array, and in my case, an array of objects, could just have been array if you wanted, right? If you gave that what I had hoped for, which is some thinking, which it seems like you did. So, right? The sooner you work on this stuff, the better it's going to be. Hopefully, if you have any questions, reply them here regarding next week's schedule. And I look forward to seeing all of you in code review, either by a week from last night, or as I've said before, and hopefully you understand this, you can submit it up right until I look at it a week from today. You'll have a little more time to do the code review if you submit it later. But there's a benefit to submitting it earlier. I think that's probably the 5th time I've said that. All right, have a great week. Please, let's all collectively send amazing energy to all those people and all those people trying to help the firefighters, the EMTs, everyone, and all the people affected by these devastating fires. And and remembering, what this day is for us as far as the anniversary of 9/11 today. Thinking about where I was and how that's changed our world. It's important to reflect on those things, I think. So today I stand in complete gratitude for all the first responders in our world. And I say thank you for all of them who help. So if you see one today, or if you are one, or if you know one, which I bet you do, let's all thank them today for whatever they do in this world, and really anyone who's working to make this world better. Peace out.